Today I'm going to be talking and showing arguably one of the most important tools and slash paints that any modeler can have in their arsenal, and that is Alclad paints. Now these are a special type of metallizer paints that arguably are some of the best I've ever used. They produce really great finishes, as you can see there. That was a little quick, but yeah, they are really good. Now, one of the keys to getting these paints on and getting them on in a manner that will come out looking really great is to first use your airbrush at a relatively low psi. I'm shooting right now at 15 psi, and also you need to put it on in very thin coats. That is, you just put down a little bit of paint at a time and just build up the color in successive layers. Now, granted, this is a little time consuming, but the end result is just gorgeous. I cannot recommend these enough. And another thing, you may be wondering, I went ahead and also masked these pieces off, and this took actually a little while. As something you should watch out for when you're doing model kits, and is another reason why you definitely want to prime and make sure you get a good primer coat down, is paint lift up. When I was prepping a couple of these pieces, the masking stuff picked up some of the paint, and unfortunately I had to redo a couple of pieces. But yeah, one way you can actually try and minimize this is basically by taking whatever the masking tape that you're going to use and basically lay that piece down back on your palm and do this, and lift it up and do this, I say no more than twice, and this will reduce the tackiness, and while it'll still hold on, granted, but it'll be less likely to pull up any paint that you may have laid down. Yeah, you can see now I'm actually working on second coat. I'm still trying to get these video shooting down right. I'll definitely try and improve for when I do the clear coating. But yeah, definitely Alclad's a really great paint. The big disadvantage, however, is that they're really meant for airbrushing only. Now, it is possible to airbrush with them, or hand paint with them, but it's very slow going. You literally have to put on a little bit of paint at a time and just build that layer of paint up gradually, as it does take a while to get them down. Much like airbrushing them, you do need to do a couple layers, let it dry, do another layer, and so on and so forth. Now, I have found that depending on the number of parts you're painting, you can do as I am doing here, and basically do a rotation of parts, doing one part at a time, and then eventually coming back around to that first part. And by that point, depending on the number of parts you have and how much you're painting, that individual part should be, I'd say, dry enough that you can start putting down another layer. But ultimately, once you do get it all done, you're going to want to let it sit and have a decent amount of time to actually dry and just fully set up. As I have found, if you handle them too soon after painting, the paint will come off very easily. So you just want to let it sit, let it cure up, let it get all happy and all that. And again, I cannot exaggerate the benefits of these paints enough. They are very, very good and worth your money, as they are a little on the expensive side, about $10, well, about $8 a bottle from the store I get it from. But the results are really great. They have a wide range of paints, colors, steel, chrome, copper, what have you. I mean, they're really good. They also make a pearlescent type of series of colors, the color change type. That I haven't played with those. I do have one, and I may actually use it in another video. But yeah, and I'm actually just about out of paint, if I recall correctly. So I'll be stopping it here and then picking it up again after I finish painting. Alright, now begins the process of basically removing the mask. Now this part can be somewhat challenging, as you want to be careful to make sure that you don't pill up any paint that may not have fully cured up. But generally, if you did a good primer layer and enough time for all the paint and such to cure up, this shouldn't really be a problem. And don't be afraid to tear some of the mask, as you're probably not going to be reusing it anyway, unless you get an aftermarket mask. Which, then yeah, you want to be careful, because you can probably reuse that. Alright, now, another thing you want to do when you're pulling off your masks is check for places where you may have bleed through, where paint has gone up under your mask. And alright, there's our finished part. And now it just needs a coat of gloss to seal everything in, and then just a few more touches, and then we'll have just our finished kit. Next video I will do or show and talk about doing a gloss coat and what advantages that brings. So till next time,